In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I'm with Ellie Newby, and she is the marketing manager at Verikai. Verikai helps basically insurances or in the insurance space to get better insights and better outcomes. And today we're going to be learning what Verikai is all about, how Ellie is thinking about growth, and a little bit about her journey in marketing. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, I'm happy to be here.
Very cool. Yeah, give us that 360 overview. What is Verikai all about?
So we are a risk prediction tool for the health insurance industry, and we're working on expanding into new lines of insurance, but our bread and butter is in the health space. So we're providing a AI machine learning platform for insurance carriers and the like to really help them better price their groups and evaluate the risk. So an insurer would run a census through our platform, and our machine learning would spit out insights into how high or low the risk of that group is, which then would help them better price the group. Okay. So really, in the insurance industry, historically, it's a pretty old school industry, and it's really reliant on rating manuals, which only look at age, gender, location, and your work industry. And there's a lot more to a person, and if they are a high health risk or not, then how old they are. So we have a persona we bring up a lot. We call her Wendy, who is a 25-year-old female, and that information alone would put her at a really high insurance premium, because rating manuals expect any female 18 to 34 to get pregnant. But with Verikai, it's a big data database, and we have more than 250 million Americans in there, and we're looking at more than 5,000 behavioral attributes, as well as clinical and previous claims data. So if we can see things, and by we, I mean our machine learning, not me as an individual, but the platform sees that Wendy just started a new job. She just opened up a new 401k. She drives a 2-door car, and she's single. She's not family planning, and she's a healthy 25-year-old. She should be given a lower premium. So
very cool. Very cool. So is it the insurances that are using the platform, or as a technology to identify, so that visitors on their insurances page can basically go through your tool and ultimately get an offer? Or is it the insurances internally? Maybe tell us a bit more, like who is seeing the tool and who's touching and using the tool?
So yes, we do. We're primarily helping underwriters, which are the insurance carriers that underwrite the risk. We also have a tool for brokers, and then we have a marketplace that brings them both together, so brokers can submit a census and be matched up with underwriters that are willing to write that group. But it is all kind of, with the exception of the marketplace, you are going through our lengthy sales process to understand why this tool is really beneficial for you, and it's not just like you sign up and a day or week later you're using it. Yeah,
makes complete sense.
Brokers can sign up for free on the marketplace and get on there right away, but our underwriter partners, those on the marketplace and the ones just using it for themselves, it's a few months usually of figuring out that this is really the right tool for them.
Yeah, let's talk about underwriters a little bit. Like, how do they hear about Verikai? Like, what is sort of the channels, the client acquisition path that you guys are leveraging for them to get to know Verikai?
Yeah, so I mean, we really, like, this month has been us coming back to doing in-person conferences, and that is huge for us, from finding really fresh leads and getting our name out there. If we land one new customer, then the whole conference is paid for pretty much. But without that, and especially in the last year or two, it's been big in the digital channels, and we're running Google ads and LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn is a really big channel for us. We have other social media, but LinkedIn is really where we see a lot of traffic, and that's where our customer base hangs out online, So we're looking at press opportunities and doing industry webinars, really, as much brand awareness as possible. And our website plays a big part in inbound leads.
Very cool. Let's talk a bit about the website. You mentioned the website plays a big role. Like, you as a marketer, most marketers that we have on the show are super critical with their website, right? Like, how do you think about the page? Like, what is sort of its major strength at the moment versus where do you see room for improvement? And for everybody who's listening in, you can go to verikai.com. It's a very fresh and how can I say, a very clean design that you guys having there.
Thank you.
And so where do you see the major strength versus where do you see the biggest room for improvement?
Well, I'm pretty proud of our website. We did a rebrand about a year ago and completely redid everything. And part of that is, I mean, we're a disruptor in the insurance space, and insurance is a old school industry. And if you look at healthcare and insurance across the board, there's a lot of blue and white gray logos. And I'm not trying to say that that's bad, but we were like, we're different, so let's look different. So we came up with this really fresh, upbeat branding strategy. And I mean, and then it's really content driven. We try to post on our blog as much as possible, and all of our landing pages about each product we're giving away as much information as we are comfortable putting out to the public. Because from a marketing perspective, it's how do I give, I mean, it, like I said, is a lengthy sales process. So how do we give potential new customers the information they need to feel confident going through the lengthy process of understanding why this is really the best tool? But I mean, from improvements, I think that we could do, I mean, my dream is to have more case studies. The problem for us is that we're kind of like the secret sauce, the competitive edge for our customers. So they don't, most of them, especially the big players, don't want their name put out there to be attached to ours. So it's hard to be like, no, I promise our customers are happy, I just can't tell you about it.
Makes sense.
So that's an ongoing challenge. Yeah.
I can completely understand. Okay. I want to touch a little bit on that lengthy process that you mentioned, which means obviously they're spending also quite some time on your website. How do you approach as a marketer to figure out why or why they wouldn't convert on the website? I mean, they're in that journey. Is there certain like tools that you guys are using, certain approaches? Maybe tell us a bit about, you know, how you're getting insight on that.
Well, I mean, it is, it's more so the challenge is not so much that they're not interested, it's that our competitors market themselves the same way. And that's always will be ongoing challenges. We know that our tool is best and that we have the most robust machine learning database, and it's hard to catch up to that because the AI algorithms are continuously, you know, getting stronger
as we speak.
Right. But our competitors like to market themselves very similarly to us. And I mean, we've had customers that come over from those other companies and are happier with our tool, but that's hard to do. And I mean, from a baseline, our marketing department, my goals and what needs to be improved upon is our reporting. I actually have been a one-woman show for most of this year. We're now a team of 3, so nice. We're growing. We're getting to the point of really being able to look at the big picture, but I mean, it's been a tremendous year for Verikai. We've had insane growth, and that's amazing. But as one person doing the job, I've just been trying to make the things get done and not really been able to look at what can we be doing differently or better than, I mean, it's working, but gotcha. You know, there's always room for improvement. And I think our reporting is a big part of that.
Makes sense. I mean, you mentioned like inbound marketing, the website plays a big role. It's actually a topic that has been coming up recently on the show. Does retargeting play a role for you guys at all, given that, you know, lengthy journey that you mentioned, or like how does that play into sort of the setup?
Yeah, I mean, we are absolutely doing things like that, and we have a really good sales development rep who does a lot of our outreach. I'm so used to email marketing being a big force in B2B, and so we have a person completely dedicated to that from a cold emails and cold calling perspective. So I work with her a lot to see how our campaigns perform and look at the Google Analytics and, you know, who should be targeted, who she should follow up with more often. But that does kind of get passed off to her.
Makes sense.
More so than
let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you and your journey as a marketer. So I would be curious, right? So ask you, like, sort of, there's so much content out there on marketing, right? A lot of stuff you could read, a lot of strategies you could try, a lot of tactics you could bring in as a marketer. How do you decide like what you read? You know, what's your way of filtering from the noise out there?
Well, I read a lot. A lot of industry news. That my email is full of stuff. I really like the LinkedIn marketing blogs, and I'm looking at HubSpot and other big players like that. But I mean, I'm just looking at when I see a title that feels relevant to something I'm trying to work on, I absolutely go read it. And sometimes it's not really nothing new, and sometimes it is. And I put out a couple hours throughout my week that I block off in my calendar for just insurance news, and I'm going and reading the big publications and seeing what's new in the industry.
I see. Since we're slowly coming to an end of the interview already, I would love to jump into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Oh, I'm ready.
Very good. What's the last book you read?
The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. Great business management book. Highly recommend.
Yep, very good. What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Really, probably bringing in the right leads and growing our product base.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, right? So everything is possible. You have a magic wand. What's the one thing that you would fix for your role?
I mean, I don't know if fixed is the right terminology, but I would want to automate a bunch of our processes, especially, like I said, with reporting. If we could have things coming in automatically telling us, here's who you need to do, you know what, that'd be great. It would save a lot of time and help us focus on other things.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Well, I have a note in my phone that I feel like I'm constantly falling asleep, and that's when I get really creative and have all kinds of ideas, but those are mostly positive.
That's good.
The last thing that kept me up from stress would be we had 2 conferences happening at the exact same time a few weeks ago, and just hoping that it all got done and everything got shipped and there was stressful.
I see. And for the last question, I would love to do some time travel and go back to the days of Chapman University. And essentially, I would, love to ask you, so you're heading out of education, right? You're off into the world of marketing, social media, and the likes. What's the one advice you would give yourself?
I would just say seize every opportunity that comes your way, because it's not going to be the path that you expected to be on, but it's going to be better.
That's a nice one. It's going to be better. It's not the path you expect, but it's going to be better. I love that.
I thought I was going to be in fashion marketing my whole career, and I am in no way, shape, or form in that world anymore, but very happy to be in tech.
Very cool. Ellie, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today to be a guest on Pathmark Presents. I want to give you the very last word, right? If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Verikai, what's the one thing that they should remember?
I mean, we are an industry disruptor. We're bringing the best predictive risk tool to the insurance industry. And I mean, from a marketing perspective, I think that product market fit is vital. And, you know, we have an outstanding product, which makes marketing a lot easier. But on top of that, we have such an amazing team and amazing culture. And that just drives everybody to work harder and focus on individual growth as well as team growth. And that has made the options feel really limitless for us.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Yeah, thanks for having me.